Good morning, softball America. The chat's already popping. We're excited here on this Thursday, October 9th. Glad that you're here. Glad that we're here. Gray Robertson, Tara Henry. Thank you, everybody, for being patient. I know we've pushed back this episode a week and then a couple days. There's been a lot going on. Maybe I'll touch on it later. Maybe I won't. We'll see. But we've got an action-packed show. We've got Addison DeRoche, the FSU commit, joining us on the program. We've got the Rule Book Club back. What is it, a hit or an error? I don't know. We'll talk about it. And we're going to hear from all of you in the chat. Tara, good morning. Good to see you, my friend.
Good morning, Gray. Good morning, everybody. I love to see the chat already going on this beautiful Thursday morning. We have a jam-packed show with lots to cover. I hope we get into scoring because we keep saying we're going to get into scoring, and we just pushed it. It's a big section.
It is, and shout out to Nick Tarina who's in the chat. The reason if we don't is because I have a Zoom in 55 minutes with the LSU volleyball coach. So that's, go Tigers. But that's the situation that we're in. So we'll see. I don't know. We got a lot to go through. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but seeing Tarina in the chat, I was like, look, I gotta shout out the Tigers. Coach Tanya.
I love it. Yeah, good morning. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Good morning, Annie. Good morning, Jeff. You already said good morning to Nick, Fang, and David. Please let us know where you are tuning in from. And yes, a lot of action. Not only are we going to talk to a top 10 2027, our top 10 list is finally done. We're off the board. Every single top 10 2027 recruit has put out their commitment post.
Yeah. I mean, Brady's got the articles up. The recruiting rankings list on the website is lacking percentages in a lot of areas because everybody's picking their spots. And I'm sure Brady's like, cool, because baby number 2 is not far. And the timing kind of worked out. But yeah, it's great. It was great to see earlier this week a lot of the announcements from those last 2 5-stars that everybody was waiting on. There's still a decent number of kids on the list who haven't committed or are still deciding. There are still visits going on, but it was great to see that news drop, and we'll definitely get into it as the show goes.
Well, and obviously the biggest news I think of the past week is Aspen Boulware going to South Carolina. And I think that's a huge get for the Gamecocks. Obviously staying home. I know it was between potentially Florida State and OU, but just what a job. South Carolina in their second year, head coach Ashley Chastain Woodard has now nabbed the number 1 recruit in the country. So Gamecocks fans have got to be happy with that. And we'll get into the top 10. And obviously we've got Addison here who we'll be able to interview and talk to her about FSU. So excited about that. But just huge get for South Carolina. I can't say it enough. And again, I don't know if we're going to get into it, Gray, but also Washington. I think to see Coach Heather Tarr getting another a top 10 as well in Ford. I will go through that list in a second, but those are my 2 takeaways from the recruiting 2027s last week.
Yeah, I'll add in about Aspen Boulware. Major win. First off, we talk all the time about recruiting wins in football. Let's talk about the recruiting wins in softball here. They kept her home over Oklahoma and a cup Florida State, which, there were ties there familially. Like there were a lot of things pulling Aspen Boulware elsewhere, and South Carolina was able to keep her in-house, more or less. Keep her home, keep her in the state. That's really, really awesome for them. Fantastic job by that staff. They've done a really good job with this class. They put in a lot of people, and that's something that they had to do a lot for this upcoming year because they lost a lot of people. They retooled with the portal again this offseason, so you got to have a lot of kids in your class, and they hit on a lot of high-profile recruits. Really, really impressive work by Ashley Chastain Woodard and that entire staff. And to your point, Washington also really, really strong, moving up the team rankings. Vivian not going to Stanford. That's a very, very big coup for Stanford. She's not a local kid. Is going to be a Cardinal. That's a really, really big recruiting win for Jessica Allister. And to Fang's point, 10 different 5-stars going to 9 different schools. Like it was pretty spread out for the most part, which is really, really good. It kind of shows in this portal era what we've talked about across multiple sports, how the talent is starting to get spread out as more good softball players or football players or basketball players rise. That talent is starting to go a little bit all over the place across the country. And I think these commitments and recruiting rankings certainly reflect that. Very, very cool. We got a Carolina fan in the chat. Sam Morning. And it's a darn good day to be a Gamecock.
Yeah, good morning. I love that stat, Fang, and I was just writing down the recruiting rankings as well. And again, we're seeing a mix there. And you mentioned Vivian Knott. I think I talked about Vivian 2 weeks ago when we were on the podcast, and we were wondering where the tall lefty is going to go. She throws high velo, can throw multiple speeds from the left side. Just tall, physical, and again, like you said, Gray, a huge get for Jessica Allister and the Cardinal, going from Connecticut to California. Quite the move. But again, when we take a look at the top 10 recruiting rankings for the 2027 class, it's on the website on 3.com/softball. Oklahoma is still in the top spot, but FSU's in there, LSU's in the third spot, UCLA is number 4. Florida is number 5. Texas A&M is number 6. Tennessee is number 7. Auburn is 8. South Carolina is 9. And then Stanford nabbing that top spot or the 10th spot to kind of round that out. So not all SEC teams, Gray. Are you surprised?
No, because of, again, the Vivian Knott get, it's very big for Stanford to be in there. We talk all the time about again, not to bring up a million different sports, but like the ACC power vortex, like who's going to move in. And in softball, we talk about it like, all right, who's behind Florida State, Duke, who can join in that crew with Clemson there as well. It always seems like that 4th spot to be the core 4 of that league is up for grabs. And Stanford showed flashes of being that team this year. I really think Vivian Knott is the kind of arm because she's a power lefty. I'm not sure how many lefties were in the database, but not a ton. So you've already got somebody who's just different by trade, and that kind of arm is always difficult to prepare for. I think I'm thrilled for Stanford. Again, they dealt with a tough offseason a couple years ago, losing the most talented player in the country in the portal, and they had a great year in response to that this past year. And it seems like Jessica Allister, despite that bump in the road, has continued to help progress this program to get them to a point where they're going to be a national championship contender year in and year out.
Yeah, the only other lefty I can think of off the top of my head is Morgan Maxwell that went to Georgia. And so, but also if you all are following along with us again on the website on this the team recruiting rankings, it's even more interesting as we get through from 11 through 15. Now, I want to remind everybody you've got to have 3 starred recruits to be ranked, but that 11 through 15 kind of set is even more intriguing to me, Gray, with Arizona State right in there. And again, I think the Sun Devils have done a really nice job with 4 5-star recruits and 3 3-stars. Washington, Oregon, Arizona, and North Carolina. So that's 11 through 15 at the moment. And for me, that's even more interesting to see those schools really hitting the recruiting trail hard and nabbing those starred recruits. Again, the only website that has star rankings for players, and I think it's pretty cool for us to sit here and be able to discuss that and to have 5 stars, 4 stars, and 3 stars, just like they do for major men's sports in basketball and football.
Yeah, big coup for the Arizona schools. Those 5 4-stars, Arizona State and Arizona, both with 5. That's massive. And you're right. Those are a lot of Oregon is an interesting one as well. They were in the mix for a lot of people that, we heard about a lot of big time recruits who were talking to Oregon. So they've been in the conversations as well, even with kids they didn't land. North Carolina, that's again, who's going to fill that, that top 4, top 5 slot in the ACC, because it feels like it's always rotating. I mentioned Stanford. Couple years, look out for North Carolina. They are building that program the right way, and they are doing it at the proper trajectory. And then, the point about the 3 thing, because Fang asked a question about Texas. If you don't get a ton of recruits, back in the day, if you had a bad recruiting class, or maybe you didn't get all the people you wanted, or maybe you only got 2 people. I mean, Texas, going into last year, they had 2 freshmen on the roster. It's not the end of the world anymore, because we got this thing called the transfer portal, where there are going to be opportunities to fill maybe some roster holes that maybe you missed on. So it's fascinating, because there are now so many more options for these coaches and programs and directions in which they can go if maybe they didn't grab that catcher they were looking for, or that arm, or that outfielder, and again, with some of the jiggling that'll have to happen when kids leave, or all that jazz. There's just a lot more lineup gymnastics and roster gymnastics that goes into it. And now you've got other ways to secure kids and build a team if the recruiting angle doesn't go as well as you want. And I think on the Texas front, just pulling into 2 kids, probably part of the plan, at least a little bit, because they've had such continuity the last few years, and they've been able to fill those occasional spots with the portal, like Kaya Altmaier, who's coming in this year.
Yeah, and I think that's a good question, Fang. I think we're all thinking the same thing. Again, with Steve Singleton leaving and going to Cal, we all know how charismatic he is and what an incredible recruiter he is. So I think they're still trying to figure it out there as well. But again, with Aaron Earlywine jumping on that staff, and Coach White and Patty Ruth Taylor and Z, they're going to figure it out. But I agree with you, Gray. I don't think it's as big of an issue now. And I think people are asking, is OU going to get a pitcher? I think that we're seeing what you just said, roster gymnastics. I love that. That made me smile when we used that. But I think that's what we're seeing, and I don't think it's as big as an issue if your recruiting class per se isn't in the top 10 at the moment, because it's just a lot easier to backfill those rosters with the transfer portal.
Yeah, and as the landscape continues to change, wipe sweat from brow, that'll be developed as well. Because again, we've seen, the NCAA put out football related portal stuff Tuesday. Like at the drop of a hat, we're going to see how all this operates changed. And that'll be fun, good for us to talk about on the show. But one team that you mentioned sitting in the top 10, actually top 2 in the team rankings, is Florida State. Now, the Noles were not there as of 2 weeks ago, but Lonnie and that staff did a really, really good job coming down the stretch and building up a very, very talented recruiting class, including a young lady we're going to talk to in just a moment, Addison DeRoche. But to get the number 2 class, you fill in, and to do it with 1 5-star, 2 4-stars, 1 3-star, that's picking and choosing correctly and doing it right. And a big, big recruiting cycle for FSU that they handled very successfully.
And Gray, I really love Travis Wilson. I don't know if you've seen his post, but he puts up his photo of almost like he's a recruit committing to Florida State. I love that when he does that, just kind of poking fun at the whole process. But I will say this: I have been impressed with Florida State this year and their recruiting that they've been able to do, hit the ground running, and really get some players in that are going to make immediate impacts. I think, Gray, and one of them we got to talk to.
Yeah, should we roll it?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I basically do the same intro in what we're about to hear, but Addison DeRoche, FSU commit 2027. Right here on Good Morning Softball America. Let's hear from her. She mentions lobster. Just saying. All right, everybody. We've got a very, very special treat here on Good Morning Softball America. Gray and Tara here. A joint interview with one of the big names that was flying off the board on Softball America. You know her as a top 10 national recruit, one of the best pitchers in the 2027 class, who has recently committed to Florida State University. She's going to be a Nole. Addison DeRoche joins the show. Hi, Addison. Welcome in. How are you?
Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to just chat about my journey and softball in general.
Well, I want to start there, Addison. First and foremost, congratulations on your commitment to Florida State. I know it's probably been a whirlwind for you, but a lot of the listeners and the viewers that are a part of this really want to know about your journey, and I think we can start there. Back-to-back player, Gatorade Player of the Year in Maine. So we don't really hear of a lot of players coming out of the state of Maine. I want to start there and what your softball journey, how it started for you.
Yeah, I'd love to elaborate on that. I think from a young age, I always watched YouTube vlogs and stuff or videos, reruns from the PGF network and stuff like that. And then college softball reruns, and I was glued to the TV when it came to that. So I always looked at that as a goal to get to, and to be able to play in college would be my dream, So I just think my parents have really helped me change teams, kind of take chances and try out for different teams. And I kind of started on Rhode Island Thunder at 11, and then we played big tournaments like I am now, and then I went to Mojo Lewis, and that kind of took off, and we won a lot of tournaments, and I played with really high-level players and against high-level players, and a lot of coaches were able to watch that way, and that's when I really just saw it come full circle, and yeah, it led me to where I am today.
So you're the second person ever that I've met from Maine. I will be asking about lobster in just a moment, but we're not there yet. When you're from Maine and you're, this big recruit, you're being listed on all these publications, how do you try and decide where you're going to go visit and which schools you're going to look at? Because, the 4 schools that were in the mix, I'm sure you talked to plenty more, they were all over the place, all over the country. How did you try and figure out what exactly you were looking for as teams were contacting you?
So throughout camps and stuff, I just tried to look at schools that were interested in me, and then I felt like I could make an impact on, and kind of just the geographically trying to figure out that was a thing, because you don't want to go someplace you don't see yourself area wise. Just finding the coaches that I think I gel with most. My travel ball coaches did a really great job getting me kind of on the right path of hey, this coach is interested, would like to have you at a camp, and I'd say okay, I'm interested or not, so that kind of led me into the camp realm of that. And then when I got to camp, I was able to experience working with the coaching staff, and then I could kind of figure out where I gelled best at, because all of the camps or all the visits that I did go on, I was able to attend a camp. Some of them I went to once, some of them I went to 4 times. So just trying to figure out that part of it. And then when it came to September 1st, people that really showed interest in me that I really felt appreciated by, that's kind of where I took my next step towards. And I loved every single visit. Nobody prepares you for it, but everybody is so welcoming, and you could really see yourself at every place. So it was really great.
And Addison, I know you spoke a little bit about going on visits and what that process was like. What was so different about Florida State and Cocha, and What did you see in that program to where now you've committed to go to Florida State?
So I've known them for a long time. Kocha comes up to Vermont. Like she started in my 8th grade year in August. Like every year she came, and I kind of was able to like meet her on like an outside from campus. So that was cool to like be able to build my relationship. But that was just like a building block, and then I was able to go to my first camp in 8th grade, and it was like a 3-day weekend camp, so that kind of was just great to be able to start my camp tours and everything. And then I was able to kind of like keep going back to camps and stuff, and I really just like kind of went back to them, and I loved the coaching staff. I think they were some of the best ever to do it. And the university I love Tallahassee personally, and like the palm trees, the vibe of the school. I think the Florida State really does a great job pouring into their athletes, and I find their support like everywhere. Like I've already had so many fan accounts and stuff like be like, welcome to the Seminole family, like we're so excited to have you, and that means a lot to me, especially coming from Maine. Like they're really excited to cheer us on, and the softball program is historic and the legacy is great, and I love how they play too, with grittiness and like all out mentality with all their heart. So yeah, I mean, I really felt at home there, and it was a great visit. I had a great time with the recruits as well that were on the visit with me, and the girls there too on the team. When we stayed at the dorm, that was probably like my favorite part, just because I was able to talk to them, and get to know what the program is like from inside the bubble. So yeah, it was a really great experience.
When you go on your visits, you talked about the softball aspect, but what else are you looking for? What else? I mean, you mentioned the community vibe as well, but when you were putting together your list of what you wanted out of your college decision, what else was on that list beyond just the softball?
Having my major, having like opportunity for me to be able to like after college to pursue something that I was interested in. Kind of like the vibe of the campus and being able to like kind of be outside more. I think that was more of like my being from Maine, like you're stuck inside all winter. So that was a really big thing when I was looking at schools. And just like, I think the people on the team as well, like you kind of get a vibe from different teams. And I think I really fit well with the Florida State girls. And yeah, they're a top 20 public university. So I'm in a Catholic school right now, private Catholic school, so it's pretty hard. But I think like being able to transition that and use it to excel at a college level as well and stay organized is really going to help me.
And Addison, you spoke a little bit about having your major. I heard someone told me you might want to get into broadcasting, or is it journalism? I think that maybe that's the road you want to go down. But for you, what made that decision? And is it broadcasting or journalism? Is that your major?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah, I think like that. I've always kind of went back and forth when coaches were asking me. I was like, okay, like journalism, sport broadcasting, or like being color analyst. I find like people in the studio, that job really interesting because I love like kind of analyzing the game. I don't necessarily want to be like on the call like every play, but I really just like the like vibe of the game, the atmosphere, and going to all the college football games. I was able to see that from like a different perspective, and I loved just like being in the like highest level possible and on the field and everything. So it was great.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that aspect as well, because when you go on these visits, I mean, we know, the coaches like to make sure wherever you're going that the football game is something that all these recruits can experience. How much did you enjoy that aspect? Because again, a lot of schools you went to, those are big time football programs with big time home environments. What did you enjoy the most about getting to soak in that part of the trips as well?
I find it so cool that like I was able to be on the field with other like 5-star football athletes. They like have their like video YouTube like vlog and everything that's following them around, and I was like I've kind of made it, like I'm kind of here with all those people. So I think that was just really a full circle moment, and being able to like stand next to all those football players. I mean, you don't see on TV how big they are, but they're ginormous. So you see them like in the dining hall, and then you see them on the field, and you're like, wow, like this is the life that college athletes live. Like you get to be so like into the college sports world, and I find it like so fascinating, and I'm really excited for my next chapter.
Yeah, and you're a 5-star recruit yourself, so you're in
That's
that
right.
group, girl. Question for you: as a pitcher and a hitter, what do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy one more than the other, and which one is easier for you?
So I kind of think like they balance each other out. I've always like loved pitching, of course. I think when you're a pitcher, you dedicate most of your or a lot of your time to pitching, and you're definitely like in all the big moments in that way. But I think also being able to like hit when you're not pitching or be able to like contribute on that side of the game, like that's probably one of my favorite parts is being able to like hit a home run, like a walk-off home run for your team, but then also lay a bunt down and like help your team in all the different ways. But pitching, I mean, it's my baby, you know, like you work on it so much and you perfect it, and not everybody can pitch, you know, so that's really unique. And I think like each person has their individual strengths with pitching. So I love that, like my strengths, and I love that I can do something different from everybody else.
But last one from me. Gray is probably going to ask a food question, but one thing that you want the softball world to know about you that does not have to do with softball. So one thing that you want them to know about, get to know you better, that it is not softball related. Maybe it's a hobby or something that you have a hidden talent, but something that is not softball related.
So I would say it's not softball related, but it kind of like stems off of that. I'd say like I got into my faith a lot throughout this journey and throughout my teenage years. I've seen like God a lot throughout just like all my travels, being up on the plane, like so far up there, and being like looking down and just seeing the entire world and knowing my experiences and the different people you meet, and like how, you know, like you meet all these people from everywhere. Being from Maine, you know, you don't really get to know a lot of people, but being able to like use that for an advantage and just being able to like seize the opportunities that I've been giving. And I've seen so many like signs, especially leading me to Florida State, but every in general, just like my next step. So I'm really excited to follow it, and I think everything happens for a reason. That's just been like a big motto of mine. And yes, you'll go through hard times, but like good times are on their way if they're not. So
I love that. I love that perspective. And now I want your perspective about lobster. Because this is the way that I always close conversations with food typically. I have met one person from Maine. Shout out to Maddie Simmerman, my girl who plays up in Maine. She raved about all the ways that you can get lobster up there. So I want to hear your favorite way to have lobster prepared, and how much are you going to miss it when you go down to Tallahassee? Or do you even like lobster? These are all things we need to know.
yeah. I like lobster. I'll eat it like a few times during the summer. I don't really get it in the winter as much, but I will eat it from like just the like full lobster, you know, and you'll pick it apart. We eat that at events, especially. Then you can get lobster rolls like in Portland or anywhere really, but that's where we'll go, like just little like restaurants and stuff by the water. They're really good, like really, really good. We have a place called the Bait Shed, and it's like there's a pier and like a dock and stuff, and they like these massive these massive like lobster rolls, so that's really cool. And I think like it's unique because a lot of people around the country don't really get to have it, or they've never had it before, and they're like, well, we don't really know like where Maine is or like what it is or anything, but we know like lobsters from there, so that's what they kind of like pair it with. So I find it cool, and I think like my coach, from one of my coaches from Mojo Lewis, Coach Barb, she actually came up this past summer, and we were able to go out to like get lunch together, and she was able to eat lobster. So it was really, really good, and I'm glad everybody loves it because it's kind of not everywhere else.
It's the best. And like I will eat lobster no matter where I am ish. I don't know. I do have some limits, but I mean, you know how it goes. Like there are some places where you just don't order lobster, but there are others where I would, and Maine is one of them. Sorry, Tara, for injecting this softball conversation with a real deep dive into shellfish, but that's how I roll.
No, well, Addison, so great to have you with us for an interview. I think Gray has put the bait shed down on his list of places to visit now. It's on there, so we'll have to let you know when we visit Maine. But just again, congratulations on your commitment. We're so excited to see you. I'll see you this fall probably, and in the summer out on the travel ball circuit. But can't wait to see you in a Florida State uniform as well. So again, congratulations from us at Softball America. Gray, any final thoughts?
No, I'm excited to watch you play and see that Rise Ball in person. Congratulations on picking FSU and going to Tallahassee, and best of luck the next few years before you get down there, because you still got a little bit of time to enjoy the beautiful Maine serenity and lobster that is around you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm super excited to be a Seminole. It's home, and yeah, I mean, go Noles.
There we go. Addison DeRoche. So the bait shed written right here. And Tara, I don't know if I've ever told you this. There was a time on Out of the Box before we had joined into the Softball America podcast conglomeration where we were rolling ads through Spotify. And for about 6 months, every episode Out of the Box people listened to was visitmaine.com. And I was always like,
really?
I would like to go. And now we have another reason, the lobster. Thank you to Addison for hopping in. That was really, really fun. We had a really great time with her. That was very, very awesome.
Yeah, I'm so impressed and so well spoken. And I think she's got a really bright future ahead of her, not only on the softball field, but potentially on camera. I think she would be great. And we even asked her, it's like, hey, Addison, maybe you want a job? Maybe we can get her to do a podcast. I think that would be pretty cool, or at least a show.
Chat, thoughts?
Yeah, let us know. What do you guys think?
A lot of Noles popped up during that conversation. What's up, y'all? Hey, gang. Yeah, it was fun. Addison's great. And that was just a great way, because the process piece, and we'll go into the Rule Book Club in a moment, but I was just so curious, like how does a young lady from Maine decide which programs to go visit, who to talk to, what is she looking for? Because if you're going P4, there's nothing local really at all. So you've got to like do the research and go to the camps and do all the extra stuff behind the scenes to figure out what it is you're looking for. Talk to basically everybody. It was really, really cool to hear that aspect of it. And James, our boy James, who has dropped a super chat in here, by the way, my bad for not popping it up.
Oh yeah,
said we have lobster in Florida. Yes, but from what I understand, in Maine, you'll like trip on the sidewalk over lobster carts and stuff. Here we go. Tara's Coffee Fund.
Thank you. Oh, Nicholas.
Oh. Nick, we are aligned on so many things in life. I do not think this is one of them.
I don't know if I've ever had gator.
They have like a lot of places in Louisiana, Baton Rouge have like fried gator bites.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I have. Wait, Nick, did I have gator when I was there? He'll tell me. I don't think I did. Maybe surprise.
That thing you thought was chicken? No.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of ad reads, we've got one.
Oh, that's right.
We do have this for this. That last segment was presented by Grow Root. Do you have that ad read?
Let me pull it up. Let me see if I have it. Maybe I don't. Maybe I do. Let's see. Is it? Yes. Yes.
Go Route.
Yes. Go Route. Oh, y'all.
Go Route.
See, this is what happens when you basically aren't on your laptop for 3 days. I've been off the clock, helping friends. Yes, shout out to our friends at Go Route, who presented that very, very awesome segment with Addison DeRoche. The leaders in coach-to-player communication, built by coaches for coaches. Go Route Diamond ensures that every pitch and play call you send is delivered clearly all season long. Visit GoRoute, GOROUT.com softball to learn more and build your custom package today. Thank you to our friends from Go Route for sponsoring that segment with Addison DeRoche. And here is Nick's rebuttal. No gator on that trip, Tara, but we do have Boudin. Now here, let's have the Boudin conversation another time.
Yeah, I think we already had this conversation. Okay, no gator.
Nick knows. Nick knows my affinity for Boudin.
Yeah. All right.
The king of the egg roll. He and Allison Habits both just like constantly deliver the Boudin egg rolls, and I love them for it. Okay. We got about 20 minutes. Let's see how much we can get into the rule book club. Children.
Do you have your new book or no?
I do not have a new book.
Wait, can you order it? I went online to order it and I couldn't find where to actually order the new rule book.
I have not. I saw the announcement that it's out.
Yeah, it's out, people. This is from the new one.
For the bit, I've still got. I don't think anything in scoring was changed.
I don't believe so.
For the bit, I'm staying with the book portion, but I am planning on ordering it very soon. I hope that the shipping and handling has been decreased just a hair. But what page in the new rule book is scoring, Tara? In the old book, it's 141 to 160 scoring.
143.
143.
143 to, and then we've got the percentage table that goes to 163. Yeah, see, Fang, PDF too. I could get it in a PDF, but I couldn't actually order the rule book. I'll talk to Joanna. We'll get Joanna on here.
Yeah, if they want to send us a rule book, that'd be great. All right, let's start with base hit. Because the first couple pages are all the terms, like what you call things, and that I would hope we wouldn't have to cover extensively.
Right. If anybody has any questions, put them in the chat.
Yes, put them in the chat if you have questions about terms and what these scoring decisions are called. Marin, I see you. That's funny. I like that. Let's go to...
No, they cannot, Marin.
No. Yeah, so you would be 4 for 5 in this scenario. You can 5 for 5 means you got 5 hits. If you reach on an error, that is not a hit.
Which we're going to get into.
Yes. 14.2, base hit. A base hit is credited to a batter when they advance to a base safely. Seems easy enough, doesn't it? But no, there are a million billion things right behind it. On a fair ball that settles on the ground or clears or touches the home run fence before being touched by a fielder. Easy enough, right? Hits the grass, hits the dirt, and they beat it out. Cool. On a fair ball with such force or so slowly that more than a routine play is required to put out the batter runner. Uh-oh.
Yep.
Here we go. Again, I'm going to read that one more time and then the 3 sub-bullet points, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, it's underlined.
Yeah. On a fair ball hit with such force or so slowly that more than a routine play is required to put out the batter runner. Now, the 3 subsets, 14.2.2.1. It should not be anticipated that an off-balance throw would retire a runner. A hit is credited to the batter even if the throw is wild. Thoughts on that, Tara?
Well, I want to first go to more than a routine play, right? Like, I think we get...
Okay, we can start there and then work down.
Don't you think? Like, that's the first thing I have underlined is, so people, you have to, the score then has to decide what is more than a routine play.
Right.
And I think routine play sometimes to different scores means different things, which is what I've seen in the press box.
Yes. Nick, untrue, but I do know some places where that's a thing that's discussed. Yeah, off balance throw is a difficult play. It is, and it's very much in the eye of the beholder, I guess, for lack of a better term. And it's also a little bit hard because I feel like in different scenarios, what a routine play is a little bit different in other scenarios. Like, maybe I'm being too harsh, but when I score in the summer league, sometimes there are plays that I view as errors that, in regular college, that I'm a little bit more lenient on in the summer league, because of a million different reasons. And I don't know. Go ahead. You're about to say something.
Well, I just even routine play to me, like I think Skylar Wallace going into the 5-6 hole is different than a lot of other athletes,
Yes,
making
100%.
Like I for sure know that because I talked to Tim and they had to pound the dirt at shortstop at Florida because she was putting so much force into the ground that she was actually making like holes in the dirt because she's that strong and that powerful. So a routine play to her is very different than another shortstop or middle infielder. So that is, to me, even we haven't even gotten through the first section of this, and I think really defining what a routine play is really hard. And then once you get to an off balance throw, a hit is credited to the batter even if the throw is wild. So we kind of sometimes see that. Again, it depends on the score. But the next one, to me, when a ground ball is fielded and a no throw or late throw is made, a hit is credited to the batter unless a throw was not made or was made late because of checking or holding a base runner on base. So if ground ball to you, if there's a runner, let's say at second, you check the runner because she's off the bag, and then throw, it's still technically a hit.
Right. And then if you're checking a runner looking somewhere else, then we get into fielder's choice territory, which is sometimes the right choice is not made. I'll just say that. And then 3, if a slowly hit ball or hard hit ball is deflected and eliminates a play for another fielder, a hit is credited to the batter. This is the world famous, like double to third base. Like if you line something and it ticks off the glove of a third baseman as they lunge for it, technically that goes down as a whatever they get to third base. Against Virginia Tech, when we were scoring that last inning, Michelle Chatfield had a comebacker that hit Caitlin Riley and ricocheted away. That was a single to pitcher and stuff like that. So that's another aspect to the scoring.
Yeah, and then it goes right into the next one. When a fair batted ball deflects off a fielder in front of first or third base, a hit is credited to the batter. So if they're standing in front of first or third, it's also a hit if it's deflected off of them.
Next up, when a play is made on a lead base runner unsuccessfully and the batter would have been safe had a play been made on the batter, this includes bunts and running slaps. Some of these aren't complete sentences, but it's okay.
I love that one.
Well, grammatically, 14.2.5 is a mess. Here's all it says.
Oh, wait. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
When a fly ball is misjudged and the fielder does not recover in time to gain good position.
Period.
That's it. Thanks, guys. That's a hit. That is a hit. It should be comma, a hit is credited, period. But yes.
So let's say an outfielder goes back on a ball because they read it and misjudge and it's actually in front of them and then drops in front. It's still technically a hit.
Yeah, this is the classic they didn't touch it, so it's a hit thing. And you can't credit errors for mental errors or whatnot or all that stuff. Next after that, on a fair ball that takes an unnatural bounce so that the ball cannot be handled with ordinary effort, or that bounces off the pitching plate or any base, a literal base hit, if you will, before being touched by a fielder and at an angle that's such it cannot be handled with ordinary effort, period. Again, would love more there. But,
highlighted ordinary effort.
Yeah.
There's just the score has to then define, is there a definition of ordinary effort that is in the rule book? I just was trying to search.
No, not that I can see. However, at the end of 14.2, there is a note that says, always give the batter the benefit of the doubt and score a hit when exceptionally good fielding fails to result in a putout. When in doubt, this is the critical one. When in doubt, scoring should always award base hits instead of charging errors. That's what it says in the NCAA rulebook.
Yeah. That is the note. And I know people get upset, when this happens that a hit is eventually ruled, but that's at the end of the entire section. Basically, you're going to err on the side of a hit rather than an error.
Exactly.
Any of those other ones you want to go through?
Not really. I mean, a lot of that's pretty basic. When no one covers the base. This is interesting. If the official scorer judges the batter would have earned a base hit had runner interference not occurred, that's... I'm not sure how many times I've seen that pop up, but I also know with how clever all these scoring tools are, typically you just put in runner interference and that's that and let it sort it out. But it's interesting that that's in the rule book. Should we go to error?
Sure.
We can go to error. Let's see. This is 14.20, page 153 in the old book. What page in the PDF, Tara?
I'm just getting to it. Oh, we're missing fielder's choice and sacrifice?
Yeah, we'll get back there.
Okay.
I'm just trying to hit the highlights because
I'm not sure today. We might have to do this next week.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to.
What is it? 14 what?
14.20.
Oh my goodness, Gray. 154.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna focus on hit and error today, and then we'll get to a lot of the minutia.
Yeah.
There's
so many notes that you just went over. It's okay. We'll get back to
I'm
it.
sorry.
Okay,
we'll get to it.
good.
We'll get to it. Error. An error is charged against any fielder for each misplay, that is, fielding, wild throws, miscatches on good throws, that, I love this line, that prolongs the life of a batter, causes one or more pitches to be thrown, or a base runner, or permits a base runner to advance. This includes a dropped foul ball, unless it was allowed to drop intentionally to prevent a base runner from advancing. For the most part, whether or not the batter subsequently is put out. There's a lot of figure it out yourself in that paragraph.
Yeah.
That was my main takeaway. It was like, you figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, they're only, I know you said to drop foul balls unless it was allowed to drop, that you're going to do that probably in the outfield if you don't want to have a sac fly. You're just going to, no foul balls if it's deep and you don't want the run to score. So they do put that in there. But again, I agree with you. There's just a lot in there that prolongs the life of a batter. So one or more pitches to be thrown, you're going to get an error.
Prolongs the life of a batter. Cool.
Yeah.
Also, a single error is charged for each miscue. I have called plays where there have been 3 errors on one play.
It does happen.
Sometimes multiple errors can be on one player in a play. That's all things that can occur. This one, there's a note here as well. An error is charged when a wild throw allows a runner to be safe only if the runner would have been put out had the throw not been wild. This is the signal from the umpires, if I'm reading that correctly, yes?
An error is charged when a wild throw allows a runner to be safe only if the runner would have been put out had the throw not been wild. So basically, they're dead in the water.
Yeah.
Like, if it's anywhere near, and it's not. But there's an exception to that rule, Gray.
Yes, on drop third strikes.
There's an exception to that rule. 14-21-13.
Yes, when a base runner, advances on a drop third strike. In such a case, it's a wild pitch or pass ball. that will be charged, not an error. However, if an accurate throw or proper catch would have resulted in an out, an error could be charged, should be charged, shall be charged on the appropriate play.
Yeah.
So if the throw is bad, then it can be an error. But if the throw is late or whatever, or not made, because oftentimes we'll see that, then it's just a pass ball.
Yeah. Just pick up the ball, be able to catch and throw. That's basically what the rule book is saying. If you can catch the ball and throw it, you're going to be good. Next one, an error shall be charged against any fielder when they catch a thrown ball or field a ground ball in time to put out any runner on a forced play and fail to tag the base or the runner, including a batter runner on a play to first base. Easy for me to say. Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. 1424. An error shall be charged against any fielder whose throw takes an unnatural bounce. So a lot of the onus is on the thrower for most of these. Touches a base of the pitcher's plate or touches a runner, fielder, or an umpire, thereby permitting any runner to advance. Apply this rule even when it appears to be an injustice to a fielder whose throw was accurate. The scorer must account for every base advanced by a runner. This is the dadgummit, that catcher made a good throw and nobody was covering second base when somebody was stealing rule. And you have to give the error to the catcher, and it stinks because it was a good throw. But such is life.
The injustice. Apply this rule even when it appears to be an injustice to the fielder.
They will rant and rave in the streets.
So good.
It's an injustice to scoring.
Oh my goodness.
Injustice. All right, we got a couple minutes left, and then I'll have to pop over. When a throw is made to a base and more than one fielder could have received the throw, but neither did, an error is charged to the fielder who should have received the throw. Again, very much like a, hey, scorer, figure it out. But that one does not pop up often. Defenses are usually pretty good about not having two people in the same spot.
Next one is an error is charged to a fielder, including the catcher, committing obstruction when an additional base is gained as a result of the obstruction. So obstruction is an error.
An error is charged to a defensive player who collides with the fielder, making the initial catch on a fly ball that is dropped. So this is one that it's charged on you, friend. if you drop the ball, this is the one where it's like, you're good.
Collide. Yeah. Next one, an error is charged when an unnecessary throw allows a runner to advance. Easy. But this does not include a throw made to play on a different runner.
Sure.
Yep, easy.
An error is charged to the thrower when an otherwise good throw hits a runner, umpire, discarded bat. Don't get that mad. It's fine. Don't hit the umpire.
Get the bat out of there. I
Yes.
just say this. The on-deck batter has got to get the bat out of there. It is their job. Well, I guess if you're the on-deck batter, you probably maybe want to leave the bat there so it hits it. But you should get it out of the way so it doesn't hit your runner as it's sliding into home.
I would recommend that.
Yeah.
Last one. An error is charged to a fielder if a catch and carry applies. Oh no, we're going to have to go to another page. But the fielder could have legally caught the ball with ordinary effort and remained in live ball territory. Catch and carry is 9.4, which I somehow turned almost exactly right there. 9.4. A fielder may not catch or field a live thrown or batted ball and carry it into dead ball territory.
Where are you?
I just lost it again. But 9.4, the catch and carry rule, basically like page 75, defense. A fielder may not catch or field a live thrown or batted ball and carry it into dead ball territory.
Yeah.
So there you go.
3 minutes break.
I know. I'm going to have to go. But we thank everybody for hopping in. That we will go deeper into scoring. We're going to talk fielder's choices. When's it a sacrifice? When is it not?
Yeah.
And when do you not charge an error? Because 14.21 is when no error is charged. That's important too. But today we want to make sure that we dove into, in the few moments that we had, hit versus error. And then we can get into the minutia of that very soon. And yes, I think this is honestly, as I was reading this section last night, one of the things that struck me, and I made comments about it multiple times. It's a lot of the time it's going to be a hit.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And people get mad too, right? Like, oh my gosh, that shouldn't be a hit. Like, nope, that it's going to be a hit most of the time.
When in doubt, it's a hit. So There you go. Thank you to Addison DeRoche for joining the show.
Yeah.
That's rude. Burner's trying to get me fired. We ain't doing that. But we might have some more Addison DeRoche content in the future. Who's to say? She was great. We greatly appreciate her coming on this show and talking through her journey. And we appreciate all of you popping in the chat and saying hello. And many thanks to all of you for some of the private messages I've received this week as well. So Tara, my friend, we'll be back next week. We'll be back on a regular schedule. We'll have a full 45 minutes on the rest of the scoring section.
Yeah, and let us know if you guys like Wednesdays. We were on Mondays during season, but we're back on Wednesdays. So if Wednesdays is good for you, let us know in the chat, or even if you're listening to this or watching it, please just leave us a comment and let us know if Wednesdays are a good day for you all at 11 Eastern.
Yes, correct.
8 a.m. Pacific.
10 a.m. Central. Don't ask about Hawaii. That's like 2 a.m. For my partner, Tara Henry, I'm Gray Robertson. Thanks for hanging out. This has been Good Morning Softball America. Thank you to Addison DeRoche for joining us. We'll catch you next time, everybody.